it's Smaragda and welcome back to I Had Plans. This episode is about a goal I didn't reach. I wanted to read 25 books this year. I read 17. And I'm saying this out loud because part of me still wants to explain it away, to justify it, list all the reasons, make myself feel better, make it go away. But the truth is simple. I didn't hit the goal. And I think that's worth sitting with, as uncomfortable as it is. So here's what happened. A couple of years ago, I finally got back into reading. It's something I enjoy very much. It had dropped off for a long time. Life, babies, work, all of it. There was no time for it. And then it came back. So last year I set myself a goal of reading 20 books. I read 24. That felt good. Solid. It felt like great momentum. So this year I did what I usually do. I raised the bar. 25. Because, it's 2025. But mostly because if something is working, it's my instinct to optimize it, to make it better. And that's probably familiar if you run your own business or if you work for yourself. You find a rhythm and then you ask, how can I do more of this? How do I do it better? How do I scale it? For myself, I can almost picture it like the angel and devil sitting on my shoulders. One of them is saying, this feels good. You did a good job. Just enjoy it for a minute. But the other one's louder and way more convincing, and it's saying more, more, more. Yes, you need a bit of both if you're self-employed, and you need a bit of both if you want to grow. But what had happened is slowly something that felt grounding had turned into a KPI. I also complicated things more this year by deciding I should read more serious books, focus more on my professional development. Not books I actually wanted to read, but books I thought I should read. The ones that make you feel like a responsible adult with opinions and depth, someone who's well-read. So I forced my way through a business book that everyone recommends. It wasn't a bad book. I just wasn't in the right headspace, and I didn't want to read it. But I kept going and pushing because I thought that's what discipline is. This book was abandoned. Then I decided to read 1984 because if this wasn't the year to read it, then when? That was a difficult read. I didn't enjoy it at all, and part of me wanted to know what happens next, but also I found I had to keep pushing to do it. I stalled, I avoided, I picked it up, I put it down again. I felt a little guilty about it, but I kept repeating the cycle. And at some point I decided I have to give up. I'm not going to read this book. What surprised me was what happened next. When I stopped forcing it and found I had a bit of capacity, reading didn't disappear. Around October, I think, I started reading again. More familiar books, easy reads, nothing impressive. I enjoyed it. But then November hit. And this is the part that matters because I didn't read at all, but not because I didn't want to, but because my capacity was gone. I wasn't tired in a physical way, but more cognitively full. Everything took effort. Decision-making was hard, and even things I usually enjoy felt like hard work. Yes, it's that time of the year, but there was also a lot going on behind the scenes, and my my brain actually said no. And that's the part people don't talk about. It's not the dramatic burnout, but it's the quiet loss of bandwidth. So I've been thinking a lot about whether this was failure or feedback. Because in business, if you're self-employed or building something long-term, we talk about consistency, discipline, systems, and they're very important. But something we often neglect is capacity. And it changes as the seasons change. And if your goals don't flex when your life does, something will break, and it's usually you. So this year showed me that pushing harder is not always growth. And sometimes the smarter move is noticing that when a system doesn't fit, You need to adjust it before it becomes resentment or burnout. Yes, it's a bit of a cliche word, burnout, but that's what happens really. And it applies to reading, it applies to work. And very importantly, I've learned that it applies to how we measure progress. So no, I didn't read 25 books. I read 17. And instead of seeing this as falling short of my goal, my target, I'm choosing to see it as information, as data. Information about my energy, my limits, and how I want to work and live going forward. Yes, another cliche, I know. If you're carrying a goal you didn't meet, maybe the question you should ask yourself is not, why didn't I push harder? But maybe the question you need to ask is, what is this telling me about what I actually need right now? Is it downtime? Is it flexibility? Is it rest? Is it adapting your goal? Think about it. That's all for this episode of I Had Plans. I will see you next time.